So the newest inductees that have been announced recently for the WWE 2014 Hall of Fame are Paul Bear and Carlos Colon. Um, I'm going to start out with Carlos Colon only because, and don't call it ignorance or anything. I just don't know a lot about this guy. You can Wikipedia him, and see what he's done. There's a few paragraphs on him, and there probably should be a lot more about him because from what it sounds like in the little thing that was done on SmackDown on Carlos Colon, it sounds like he actually did have um, a very important part of wrestling history as far as, um, excuse me, the back when the territories were more prevalent, because he did a lot of stuff down in, what did they say? Oh, Puerto Rico. Um, and he was actually world champ down there. Is it 25, 26 times, something like that, which is impressive. Um, if that was for his own promotion, well, guys that run their own promotion can be champion as many times as they want. That's not to say he wasn't good or anything, but anyways, but yeah, it's cool that he is being put into the Hall of Fame because he does have a certain amount of wrestling history behind him, um, and has also taught family members the same thing in the business too. Wrestling. Um, I just don't know a lot about him to do a whole video just on him. So call it what you want. It's not meant to be disrespectful. I'm just not going to do an entire video on him because I don't know that much, and I'm not going to sit there and look through thousands of videos and look up a million different things on him. But don't get me wrong. I think it is cool that he's going into the Hall of Fame. He's the father, as far as, because I don't think a lot of current wrestling fans know who he is at all. But they will know who his sons and his nephew are. His sons are Carlito and Primo. Uh, don't ask me what his character's name is because now Primo and Epico. Epico is Carlos Colon's nephew, and Primo and Epico are now Los Matadores. Don't ask me what the character names are for that, uh, let alone the little midget. Oh, excuse me, not a midget. He's a mini because he's from Mexico. So they call them minis down there. But uh, yeah, Carlito, Epico, and Primo are supposed to induct Carlos Colon into the Hall of Fame the night before WrestleMania. So that'll be cool. Unless you see a lot of independent wrestling scenes, you haven't seen a lot of Carlito lately. And I thought he was an okay talent. I was kind of bummed when they let him go. Apparently, he had drug problems and didn't want to get the help for it or whatever. That's what I heard. If that's true or not, I don't know. But nonetheless, Carlito and Epico and Primo are going to induct him into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Carlos Colon. Now on to Paul Bear. This doesn't go without a hair of controversy. He died right before WrestleMania of last year, right before they were starting to do the whole CM Punk versus I almost said CM Punk versus Paul Bear. No, CM Punk versus The Undertaker for WrestleMania. Um, yeah, it is a shame that okay, now he's dead. Oh well, now it's now he's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he should have went in before he died. He really should have, because um, who he helped as far as managing. He brought just a whole nother dimension to their character, whether it was the Undertaker. Because back when the Undertaker started, he didn't say jack. He really didn't say much at all. And when he did talk, it was real simple and evil and whatever. He didn't do these long, drawn out promos like Bray Wyatt did now. That's what Paul Bearer did. Paul Bearer was what Zeb Coulter is now for all the guys who are they're great in the ring, but don't put them on a mic, like Jack Swagger. Um, Paul Bearer helped out the Undertaker, um, and I don't know all the guys that Paul Bearer um, managed, so excuse me on that one. Obviously, there was Kane. He helped out. I managed Vader, Mankind, and I know there were others, but I'll just mention those four for now. Those are the main ones that I saw in like the promo, recognition and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, it's sad that he's gone, but it's great that they're putting him in the Hall of Fame this year. Um, I was watching an interview that was done with CM Punk right before WrestleMania last year, and they were talking about a little bit about Paul Bearer passing, and it was mentioned. Now CM Punk didn't say this. Sam Roberts actually said this, um, and I don't fault him for saying this. You could take it for what it's worth. Like CM Punk said, there were 2 years of um, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, 2 years for Hunter versus The Undertaker, and now you got CM Punk. And it was just one of those things where there were no stipulations. There were no, okay, obviously everyone tries to break the streak. Okay, that's a given. But there was no added stipulation. There was no added gimmick to it. And it was mentioned in the interview. It said, "Oh well, thank God Paul Bearer died, because what else are you going to bring to this match?" And as wrong as that is, it's true. It's true. Um, if Paul Bearer didn't die, what were they going to do with this match? I mean, okay, it wouldn't have changed the epicness of the match. Okay, the match still would have been as great as it was, but all the stuff leading up to it. For example, I believe it was the Raw before WrestleMania was when Punk came out. Um, oh, Punk and I'm trying to remember how this all went down. I should have went back and watched all the videos, but Punk and Paul Heyman had the urn, and they were. You have to, if you have not watched it, you have to go back and look at this footage, because as controversial as it was, it made for great television. It really did. Paul Heyman came out as Paul Bearer, done up like him totally, and then CM Punk did the whole thing where he attacked the Undertaker with the urn and then unscrewed the top and then just took the ashes and the inside and put them all over him. And oh man, just watching it, it was like, oh no, they did not just do that with ashes. Oh yeah, it's It was priceless. It was really good television. Um, I know a lot of people hated seeing that and said shame on them for doing that. But looking back on it now, and getting uh, William Moody, aka Paul Bear's family's permission to do this. I don't know if they did or not. I don't remember. I remember hearing something about, oh, they were really upset about it, and I heard, no, that's not true. Paul Bear would have loved that segment, period. As controversial as it was, it's true. Because, well, for lack of better words, it's good for business. It is. It made great television. It was kind of hard to watch. It really made you sit back and be like, wow, did they really just do that with the whole Ashes and Paul Heyman dressed up as Paul Bear? And yeah, it that segment leading into WrestleMania last year, that really turned some heads. It really did. But I liked it. As shocking as it was, I loved it. Yeah, Paul Bear will be missed. He was one of the greatest managers. I put him up there with Paul Heyman. I put him up there with Jimmy Hart, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Those guys, just a classic figure. You can't beat that. So original and so unique for that time when there was the land of giants in the WWF, and in comes the Undertaker and the Paul Bear at his side, and it was so dark, and it was great. It really was. Makes me want to go back and watch some of that footage on the WWE Network. Which you can now. You can go back and watch all the old pay-per-views. So yeah, you add those to the list now. You got Jake the Snake Roberts, Ultimate Warrior, Lita, Carlos Colon, and Paul Bear. Great class for 2014. You got to assume there's going to be at least one or two more people. I'm guessing at least one. I'm hoping it's Scott Hall. There's been rumors about that the last couple of weeks. A little blip in the news, something to the effect of X-Pac was talking to someone and said, yes, I'm going to be inducting Scott Hall this year. Well, you can take that with a grain of salt, I guess. I hope they add someone else significant to this class. Not that this class isn't already good, but there's only, X amount of people. So, yeah, it'd be nice if they add one or two more. So, yeah, hopefully, Scott Hall or Randy Savage or something like that. Who knows? Who knows what they'll do? But nonetheless, it's a great class so far. Very entertaining. I can't wait to watch this. It'll actually be on. Now they said it's going to be on live the night before WrestleMania 30 on the WWE Network in its entirety, which means I'm guessing it's not going to be the typical 1 hour thing that they throw on television and they cut out over half the guys. It'll probably be, I'm guessing, a 3 hour event. That's my guess. And it should be. Give the guys enough time to talk about whatever. You have a good acceptance speech. So yeah, great class. Good to see these guys get in. Can't wait to watch it live. So that's my thoughts on the newest inductees that were announced this week and last week. Thanks for watching, guys. Be back real soon.